I recently got back into Pokemon Go. You know, the game from 2016, which blew out of nowhere. Yeah, good times. Anyway, so I've been having a blast recently, catching Pokemon left and right. It's been fun. It's actually gotten me to go outside and touch grass, which is new. Also, I found out about Vivillon. You know, this Pokemon from Gen 6. Vivillon is currently in Pokemon Go, with 18 patterns to find, minus the other two which we don't talk about. So for all the Gen 1ers and the newcomers of Pokemon, basically Vivillon is a butterfly Pokemon from the Kalos region, and it's got 18 main patterns tied to it, with 2 special ones that for some reason Scarlet and Violet completely destroyed the value of, and the Pokeball pattern which we still haven't heard about. Now how you get it in Pokemon Go? Well, it's actually fairly simple. You have to make friends. See, Pokemon Go has a friend system. So you basically find other people, get their friend code or QR code, slap it onto your phone, and then boom, friend. And once you're friends, you send gifts to each other. And to get Scatterbug, you pin those postcards, and that will count towards a Scatterbug encounter. So basically, if I send a gift to one of my friends, they can pin it and it will count towards their Scatterbug encounter. If they send me a gift, I will pin it and then it will count towards mine. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, here's the kicker. All 18 patterns are found in different parts of the world. So in order to get those 18 patterns, you need to pin postcards from specific regions of the world. So like I live in Australia, so I have the river pattern because I'm in the river region. So if I sent a gift to a friend and then they pinned it, it would count towards the river pattern Scatterbug encounter. And say I've got a friend from Japan and they send me a gift and I pin it, it would count towards Elegant because that's where Elegant comes from. And so on and so forth. And if you're having trouble finding where all these Scatterbug come from, here's a map that Pokemon Go has rightfully provided us. When I first found out about the patterns, I thought it was strange that Sandstorm and Icy Snow had Vivillon from those regions because, you know, icy cold and heat does not go well with butterflies. But as I was making this video, I found out that Dubai and Finland actually have butterflies, so apparently they are thriving there. I don't know how, but So the process is pretty straightforward, right?
No.
You are very wrong. The process is straightforward, but there are 3 Vivillon patterns that are for some reason extremely hard to get, and those 3 strike fear into every completionist ever. Ocean, Sun, and Sandstorm. And as I studied the map closer, I began to understand why they are so hard to get. I think these 3 are difficult because they're in remote places, so I guess Pokemon Go didn't really space them out when they were making it, which kinda stinks. But despite knowing that, I assigned myself the task to get them all. And also, I want all of them to be 3-star. See, I'm picky with IVs in this game. Not so much the other main games, but this game, that's different. I'm very picky when it comes to IVs. I want at least 3-star for all patterns, because if you're gonna spend 125 to get a Vivillon, at least use it on something that is actually good. So, I present you my wonderful experience with the grind. I started about 3 months ago. It was easy collecting them at first, just like with anything starting new. I had no problems searching for friend codes on the internet, and friends were very easy to get a hold of. I noticed that over time, things began to become more hard, just like with anything that you're collecting. It starts getting harder. After the first 2 weeks, I started to run out of gifts frequently, so to combat this problem, I began walking every day around my house, collecting Pokestops and getting enough gifts for my friends. And I pretty much kept this up for the next month. And so far I had these guys crossed off of my list. And then there was only these guys to get. But then something horrible happened.
Huh?
I found out there was a gift limit. A gift limit! I mean, having more than 100 friends and having a limit where you can only open 20 a day? That was not good. And so this was a problem for a couple of days, and I started to just overthink everything. I didn't know which ones to open. But then I had a brilliant idea. I came up with a priority system. I would nickname all the friends that would send me the gifts from the regions I needed to collect, and I would leave the rest of them blank. And I would always open the nicknamed friends first, and at the very end of the day, like when I go to bed, I would open the rest in order of the earliest gifts I received. So that way, over time, everyone would get a chance for their gifts to be opened. And this worked like a charm, but then I ran into yet another problem. I kept getting friends, right? And so very soon it became over 200, and that in turn means I kept running out of gifts to give. Because another limit Pokemon Go has set is that you can only hold 20 gifts in your inventory, and that's it. No matter how much you keep spinning, 20 is the maximum you can have in your inventory, which is another stupid limit. That was a bit of a problem because everyone kept opening my gifts, so I kept needing to send them. And of course, me being a people pleaser, I felt extremely guilty for this. So, I had to sacrifice myself. So, I would need to venture a whole 2 minutes from my warm, safe home to the park. And I would sit at the park bench spinning Pokestops in the cold. And this would only happen on the days that I was working from home. The rest of the days I would be at work, which is surrounded by Pokestops. So I would stack up on gifts for the night ahead. Now I was only down to Archipelago, Sun, Ocean, Icy Snow, and Sandstorm. I was down on friends that would send me gifts from those regions. And so I spent at least 2 hours copying friend codes from the internet. Only half of them actually accepted. Only a quarter of them would actually send me a gift back, and less than 3 would keep sending me gifts after 1. You can kinda understand the problem here. So I had to keep doing this method over and over and over again every single day. That was a real pain. After a lot of effort, I finally obtained one of the difficult Vivillons, the ocean. And shortly after, I got Archipelago, Icy Snow, and finally Sun. All that was left was Sandstorm. I spent weeks trying to find friends that weren't obvious trolls, and I just so happened to be hit with a really bad virus at that time. And so I've had to stay home for like a week. I only needed one more gift to get my first Sandstorm Vivillon. At this point I was desperate. I just felt like the ugliest Vivillon pattern was just out of my reach. And then a miracle happened. I got it. The blood pumping, feeding it a whole bunch of pineapple berries, chucking a whole bunch of Ultra Balls at it. I finally caught it, the Sandstorm butterfly. My heart was racing, my fingers shaking as I looked at the stats. The moment of truth, it was a 2-star. So I had to do this all over again, and it took me forever again. I finally managed to get one that was a 3-star after many failures. And now it is done. I was finally set free from my own prison. I did it. I caught 'em all. And yes, I still don't know about the other two. Listen, I'm not gonna worry about them. I think all 18 has given me enough problems.